Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Takara Tomy Transformers Generations Jetfire. A re-released Jetfire. We actually already gotten a Jetfire at the time that these came out from the folks over at Hasbro, who gave us a Generations, Classics Jetfire. But with many Takara releases, not only were we getting the inclusion of extra chrome and stuff like that, but there was a slight retooling to Jetfire here, and I'll show you this when we get this out of packaging. As packaging goes, we've got the image of Jetfire in jet mode down below there. And the rest of it, unfortunately, is in Japanese. Spot's unable to read that. However, on the back of the package, shows you the transformation from jet to robot mode. Also shows you some of the features on the robot there as well. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, we're going to get a better look at Takara Tomy's Jetfire. Don't go anywhere, guys. There's more heading your way. Stay tuned. With Takara's version of Jetfire, or also been coined the Henkei versions of these figures, again, you're getting a slight tweak to the existing vehicles and the existing, robot modes. Before we have a look at that, though, what you get included with the Henkei Jetfire is a trading card. On the back shows you the jet mode. You get yourself, of course, the instructions that, you will need, although again in Japanese, but Jetfire is a fairly easy figure to transform. And lastly, you also get yourself a comic book. It says Takara Tomy. There's a nice picture of Jetfire, Starscream, and Ramjet. On the back, the other Henkei versions released, which I think Spot has most of these inside a black and white comic. I could read this to you, but sadly I would just be making up most of it because I can't interpret that. Putting that to the side, the Henkei Jetfire does come with the same components really as the North American Classics Jetfire. He does come with the same cannon, little side arm cannon, little hand cannon. It looks like it is the exact same color too. There's no difference between the two. He comes with clear missiles, whereas the North American version had blue missiles. I kind of like the blue missiles a little bit more than the clear missiles. That's just my preference. Leave those there. He does come with the top cannon, which, just reaching off camera here and straighten this out. He did come, Spot just quickly threw that together. He does also come with the top cannon, which you'll see is a little bit different than the North American version. I guess really the only difference is the inclusion of the white on the sides, which the original version didn't have, and the inclusion of the chrome on the back thrusters, which the North American version or the original version only had black. Other than that, it's the exact same cannon. So we'll just put that to the side. Jet mode. Now, jet mode is probably where you start seeing some of the main differences between this and the original release. That the main difference is really this section right here, and we just reach off, bring in the original version, straighten that out. You can see the difference between the two, other than a little more red on the wings, the back wings there as well, whereas this is a little more white in color. The main difference is the front cockpit. This looks a little bit more like the cartoon, how Jetfire appears in the cartoon, whereas this looks more like the original toy. But aside from that, it's the exact same jets. There's the undersides of the jets. The underside are pretty much identical. Wings are a little bit different in paint, but the robot mode as a whole is pretty similar to one another. So really the majority in the differences are stemming from the cockpit areas, as you can see. Put that to the side. His landing gear is the exact same area as well. There is a landing gear here, which I always seem to have a tough time getting to. There's a landing gear here. Maybe sometimes it's better just to open that first and then bring out the landing gear. And he has the landing gears at the back. These are rolling tires. Rolling tire in the front as well. So you can have him landing. I think I see if I want to be more cartoon accurate, I think I prefer this Jetfire in jet mode, but I think I like more so the look of the original classics design better. It's got a lot more oomph to it, which is this one doesn't really have as much of that. But for transformation is the exact same on this one as it was with the original. What you're going to do is take this section, fold that open. Ultimately, you're going to fold these open anyway, so we'll just fold that open right away. And there's his head. His head's in there. This back section folds flat. Just want to fold those flat and bring this forward. Get something that looks like that. The transformation is really, as soon as you flip it around to the other side here, the arms will come out, and these black sections right here will untab, and then you'll want to bring these forward, just like that. Bring these arms down, just kind of get them out of the way, and make sure these are locked into place. From there, the arms are pretty much done. You can spin these forward. The hands, you really don't have to do anything to the hands. They're already visible, they're already there. And then for the legs, you're just going to pop these out, and you're going to extend out the feet. Going up to the top of the torso, bring this section down, like that. And make sure these arms are out of the way. Take the sides, take them and fold them up, and they'll just latch onto the sides. There's really no clip. I mean, there's a clip there, and there's a little groove there, but they don't sit very well in there. They sit in place. They're not going to come out, but they're not as secure as I had hoped. Take the head, just kind of move that forward, and then bring the arms down. Adjust them to whatever desired position you want to have them, and then take the wings and just take the wings and fold them up. Again, just your preference as to how you want to display them. Spread the legs out, and Jetfire is pretty much ready to go. The main difference again with Jetfire from the Henkei release versus the North American was the cockpit, but also with the head. If I bring over the Jetfire from the original Classics line, you can see that his head is a little more closed in, it's a little more narrow. It's a good looking face, but I think the superior face is the one that was on the Henkei release. I think jet mode, I prefer the North American, but in robot mode, I think this Jetfire is far superior. It just looks a little more like he did in the cartoon. There's not as much of the black in the head, and I think the retooling of the head once again, and there's the other one there right there. You can see the difference between the two. Yeah, I like the Henkei a lot more than I liked the original release of Jetfire. From that, though, I mean, he has, aside from, again, the cockpit and the head, it's the exact same Jetfire. There's nothing different between them. You can still take the clear missiles, and they can sit. You can just plug them into place. They still fire off quite a distance, actually. And you can still take the cannon and put that into his hand. Now, you can either have Jetfire displayed like this, which I'm more geared to probably display him, and in this way, his articulation, by the way, his head rotates left and right, quite a bit of movement in the arms, nice bend, really stiff, nice bend in the elbow, swivel in the wrists, and then the legs are on a nice ratcheted joint, so lots of movement in there. But as I was saying, I probably will display Jetfire like this. If you do like your Jetfire a little more, let's say, more firepower, then you can include this piece right here. And in the exact same fashion as the North American version, take the clips, peg those into place. A little easier when it's in jet mode than when it's in robot mode. But you can take the cannons, extend them, and bend the front cannons forward. Again, your preference, you can have them up if you so wish, up like that, or you can have them down. But it definitely gives Jetfire a lot more firepower than he had before. Pretty much this section right here is the exact same. There's nothing different between that and North American other than the chrome that's on the bottom, and a little more accents, a little more white accents on the sides of the thrusters. But really, depending on how you prefer it, you know, you can have Jetfire without these like I might end up doing, or you can have them with the cannon. So either way, it's a good way to display Jetfire. There are the comparison between the two Jetfires, your Henkei release and your North American release. You know, again, like I prefer this one a little more, I think, in jet mode, but in robot mode, this one takes the prize for me. He just looks a little more like he did in the cartoon. He's a little more, well, he has a little more white on him, which I think I like a lot more. The cockpit has a much smaller window, but you can't you can't argue the point that that definitely is a superior head sculpt to the North American release. If you can find this Jetfire, and unfortunately with a lot of the classics figures, again, Spot's had this in his collection for a while, your best bet now is find them on eBay if you're ever wanting to track these down. Jetfire has now started getting really popular again. They're going to be releasing him in a current or upcoming Hasbro release of a retail release of him, and I think he's actually going to be a leader class. That or may not be correct, but we're also getting a third-party version of him as well. So Jetfire is really getting a lot of love, and all the more reason why I wanted to go back and shoot reviews of some of the original Jetfires that we received. This Jetfire is one of my favorites, and of the two, this is the one that I always will have on display. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Takara Tomy Henkei Jetfire. Thanks for watching as you always do, guys. Stay tuned. Spot's going to have more videos heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.